We've been a leader in banking for more than 100 years. You'll find us here, at home, on your phone, and everywhere you go. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Sponsored by Renaissance Bank.
Good morning and welcome to Daily Journal Newsbreak for Thursday, February 22nd. I'm your host, Chris Kiefer, and we're going to take a look at the top news and sports stories from Northeast Mississippi. But first, let's start with your weather forecast. Today we're looking at rain. That's a 50% chance of rain with a high of 68 and a low of 50. Looking ahead at your 3-day outlook, Friday, partly cloudy, high of 62, low of 42. Saturday, 80% chance of rain with a high of 73 and a low of 50. Sunday, cloudy skies, high of 60, low of 44. Let's take a look now at today's top headlines. Former Tupelo Mayor Ed Neelly died on Wednesday at the age of 78. Neelly served a single term as mayor of Tupelo from 2005 to 2009. The Republican decided not to seek re-election. Prior to his tenure as mayor, Neelly also served one term as an at-large city council member. Neelly entered politics later in life after a long career in the banking industry. He served as CEO of the former People's Bank and Trust Company, which is now Renaissance Bank. His stint at City Hall saw some big successes for the city and the region, but was also marked at times by turbulence. That included clashes with the city council. Toyota announced plans to locate a manufacturing plant in nearby Blue Springs during Neelly's term. That was considered a major economic development coup for city and county leaders in the region. Significant and ongoing controversy also occurred after city leadership decided to hire a consultant to study whether any racial bias existed in the municipal government's hiring practices. Arrangements are being handled by Pegues Funeral Home in Tupelo. The funeral will be held at 11 a.m. on Saturday at First Presbyterian Church in Tupelo. Starkville aldermen denied a request on Tuesday to host the city's first Gay Pride Parade. The board voted 4-3 against issuing a permit for the event. Starkville Pride is an LGBT support group. It had planned to hold the parade March 24th in Starkville. The board's decision left some members of the group in tears and drew criticism from the mayor. Starkville Mayor Lynn Spruill said she was disappointed with the decision. Starkville is home to Mississippi State University. Spruill noted that Oxford, where the University of Mississippi is based, has held gay pride parades for several years. Alderman Jason Walker, who voted in support of the parade, said he was disappointed that his colleagues who voted no have given no explanation for their decision. 16 people had spoken at the Tuesday meeting in favor of having the Gay Pride Parade. 2 had spoken against it. The Senate leadership does not plan to make any major changes to legislation passed by the House earlier this session to rewrite the school funding formula. Senate Education Chair Gray Tollison's committee met Wednesday to discuss the House proposal to rewrite the Mississippi Adequate Education Program. The Education Committee has a Tuesday deadline to pass the bill and send it on to the full Senate for consideration. It would not be unusual for the chamber to make major changes to such a substantial bill. The new proposal will start with a base student cost of $4,800 and will provide a certain amount of additional money for various categories of students. Those include poor students, gifted students, or special needs students. An add-on will even be provided for high school students. The House plan is being called the Mississippi Uniform Per Student Funding Formula Act. It incorporates many of the recommendations made by New Jersey-based EdBuild, which was hired as a consultant by the legislative leadership in October 2016. Studies done by independent groups show that the current and underfunded adequate education formula would produce $292.1 million more for public education in 2025 than with the House proposal. And in sports, the Amory girls basketball team did an awfully good Encyclopedia Brown impression last weekend. As the Lady Panthers were eating a post-game meal at McDonald's in Fulton on Friday, some of the players started a conversation with another patron, a woman from Alabama. After the woman left, the players realized she had left her wallet behind. It contained a pair of checks worth around $2,500, about $700 in cash, and credit cards. Amory coach Paula Wax planned to mail the wallet to the address on the woman's driver's license. However, her players immediately went to work to track her down. A few hours later, after scouring social media, they found the woman on Twitter and messaged her. Wax then arranged for the wallet to be returned safely. That does it for Newsbreak on this Thursday. Don't forget that this show is just one of the many online offerings courtesy of the Daily Journal that gets you news off the page and on the go. This week's episode of the Memo podcast examines the public transportation debate in Tupelo. Emma Kent and I explore why the city doesn't have public transportation and talk with leaders about the latest proposal. Listen in Apple Podcast and Google Play or online at memo.djournal.com. And Ole Miss and Mississippi State fans, check out the Double Coverage podcast with beat reporters Parrish Alford and Logan Lowry. Look for a new episode this afternoon in Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or at doublecoverage.djournal.com. Each story discussed on Newsbreak can be found in your daily journal or online at djournal.com, or you can also catch a new episode of Newsbreak each weekday morning at 7 a.m. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Kiefer. Have a great Thursday.